Hi everyone. In this video, I'm interviewing Rebecca Piety, the director of the Student Academic Resource Center and the University Testing Center at the University of Central Florida. Today, we're speaking about study strategies for online classes. Rebecca, thanks so much for joining.
Thank you, Jackson, for having me. I appreciate it.
Before the term starts, what are some actions that students can take to give themselves a head start and set themselves up for success in their online classes?
Yeah, so there are several strategies that we recommend to students to make sure that they're positioning themselves in the best way possible to take online classes. Some of the strategies that we tell students or that we talk to them about are to make sure that they're thoroughly reviewing the syllabus before they get into that online class. Every class is set up differently, and even though the classes are online, the modalities can be different as well. So it's important to really read the syllabus so they can get an understanding of what learning management system is going to be used. Is there any specialized software or programs if the class might be more technical? How do they access the class? And again, what modality is going to be used? We also encourage the students in terms of the learning management systems, whether it's Canvas, Blackboard, or maybe another LMS, to really figure out how to navigate it before the class starts, to become familiar with it, because they need to know how to review, submit, and upload assignments. There's nothing worse than having to submit an assignment late and either getting points taken off or maybe getting a 0 grade on it just because you weren't familiar with the technology. So we really encourage them to understand that learning management system prior to even that first assignment coming due. And then it might seem basic, but we also talk to students about making sure that they have the necessary technology to take the class. So aside from just textbooks and materials that you would need for any class, whether it's in person or online, we also talk to students about making sure wherever they're taking that class, whatever their location is, that there is a stable and reliable internet connection, to also make sure that they have access to a reliable computer, and that they might even need a headset or earbuds if they're taking that class in a location where there might be some distractions, or maybe they don't want that conversation overheard by others. And then lastly, I think getting organized by mapping out the semester's assignments using some type of planner or calendar is key for accountability in an online course. And that's something that they can do in advance to start planning out those important due dates or deadlines to help really set them up for success.
Great. So we'll get into organization a little bit later, but I want to speak to motivation right now. Motivation is key to success in any class. So do you have any advice to help students stay motivated and productive, even though they might be taking classes from the couch in their dorm room or their parents' houses or apartments?
Absolutely. So yeah, motivation is key. And it's always in real estate, and the same it's in online classes: location, location, location. The students need to get out of that bed. They need to get up off of that couch. We would not recommend taking a class from either of those locations, even though it's online. Find a desk to work from, find a table to work from, find a really conducive environment for studying and taking that online class. Make sure that they're connecting with peers when they are taking those classes. It can be difficult because everyone has been fairly isolated in this period of remote learning, or it can feel isolating sometimes. So motivate your peers, connect with them, build virtual study groups. It also helps with accountability to making sure that they're staying on task. Students can connect through any variety of technologies. There's so much available to them, whether it's through that learning management system that they might be using, whether it's through Facebook, if they go to their college or university website to maybe search for a group related to their major in order to connect with other students, Google Hangouts, LinkedIn, GroupMe. There's so much available to them to try to connect, to keep that motivation and accountability going. Additionally, they really need to think about their long-term and short-term goals. Why are they taking that class? How is that class going to help them either with their long-term or short-term goals related not only to their education, but their career goals as well? And then what can they learn from those classes and assignments that might keep them motivated to give them that little extra push to keep going? And also, I think it's important for students to set up a reward system in order to keep that motivation. So if maybe using their cell phone or surfing the internet is a big motivator for them, maybe after a period of 30 minutes of studying, take a 10-minute break, go on your cell phone, text your friends, play whatever, game you like to play on your phone, but have that reward system in place that can also help that motivation.
Time management can also be a challenge for new remote learners. Typically, students are required to stick to a strict class schedule. Online, though, students often have much more control over when they complete their assignments. So, do you have any tips to help students effectively manage their time and stay on top of their studies?
Yeah, I think creating a routine is really key for time management. To use a planner or a calendar, whether it's a paper copy, whether it's an online version, to set up that weekly schedule and include not only your class times, but be mindful about planning time to study, but also outside of academics, meal breaks, because nutrition is important as well. So making sure that students are eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Planning for leisure time, because those breaks and those rewards are important as well. Planning for exercise, because it's important that we keep healthy during this time also, and we have to be intentional about taking those breaks to exercise, not only our minds, but our bodies as well. And then whatever other responsibilities the students might have, to be mindful about incorporating that into their planner or calendar. So whether it's work or maybe other personal obligations that they might have. And also to set those reminders that I mentioned earlier for any major deadlines or due dates, to put that on a calendar or in a planner so you know what the short-term deadlines are for the classes that you're in, but also for those maybe bigger projects or research papers, to know when those are going to be due and to chunk off time, to plan those little blocks of time to work on those larger projects in advance. I think those are some of the key things that students can do in terms of time management to make sure that they stay on task.
Great. Now, circling back to organization, do you have any
Mhm.
additional tips as to how students can stay organized while taking online classes?
Yeah, definitely. Specifically related to online classes, I would say digital organization. So this has been something I think newer for many students when we did transition fully remote. So digital organization in terms of maybe setting up a folder system on your computer for each of your classes, saving your syllabus in that folder. You can either do some digital color coding if that's helpful, if that's a strategy that students want to use. Bookmark websites that you go to frequently, whether it's your learning management system, whether there are other websites that you access, but having them easily accessible so you're not searching for it every time. That would also help stay organized and just make the studying process more efficient. And try using online tools such as Stay Focused, which can really help reduce distractions if you do find yourself frequently surfing on the internet. It's wonderful that students can take classes online, but there's a lot of distractions with that too, because you have Google and you can surf around the internet. So using something like Stay Focused, which will help keep you off of those other sites that aren't education related, can be really helpful. And then I think also logging into the learning management system to review any new assignments or announcements that the professor may have posted, and doing that on a routine basis just to make sure that you're really staying on top of any deadlines that are upcoming.
So, what have we missed? Are there any other additional study tips that would be useful for online learners?
So a common theme that we see with students is that they just simply wait too long to get help. So my advice to students is to seek assistance early at the beginning of the semester. All too often we see that students wait to get help. Sometimes they'll wait until after that first test when that test grade maybe isn't what they had hoped it would be, when really they could have gotten the assistance in advance of that first test to get that high grade. I always tell students it's much easier to maintain those high grades than it is to have that low grade and to have to work even harder to bring it back up to an A or a B. And also, of course, seeking help from academic support offices such as ours. There are many online resources available for tutoring, supplemental instruction, academic coaching, peer mentoring, academic success workshops that students can take advantage of. And again, take advantage of that early on and don't wait until later in the semester. And I think one of the things that has been key for us is also encouraging students to check that email regularly, at least once a day, if not twice a day, because right now email is one of the primary means of communicating with students, with everything being online. So it's really important that they check that email and read that email so they don't miss any important announcements or information or updates for their classes.
Great. Well, thanks, Rebecca, for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And for more interviews like this, please subscribe. Have a great day, everyone.